Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. You're watching the Silent Sports and Gaming channel. Today's date is September 11th, 2025. Um, this is episode 310. Thank you guys for being here this morning. Got a good show today. Of course, we're going to get into the NFL. Week 2 starts tonight in Green Bay as the Washington Commanders visit the Green Bay Packers. Another good game to kick off another NFL week. We'll get into that game and the details. We'll look ahead to week 2 as well. I'll touch on some of those games, go through the schedule, touch on it. Check out the MLB standings. We're now in the middle of September, so teams starting to establish playoff spots. So we'll look at that. Touch on some news there. NBA, we'll look at NBA Group A from the West this season. Minnesota Timberwolves, OKC Thunder, Phoenix Suns, Sacramento Kings, Utah Jazz. They are the 5 teams we will touch on today. And there's a big fight this weekend. Canelo Alvarez going against Terrence Crawford. I'll touch on that before the show ends as well. Thank you guys so much for support of late. We had 383 subscribers, so I appreciate that so much. I appreciate it for y'all support. Sorry about that. I'm late today because I had to charge my devices. My device I used to look at certain things for the show was dead, so that was the issue. So I had to charge that, give it 30 minutes. So I pushed it back 30 minutes. But we shouldn't be long today. Once we get through the MLB standings and the NBA talk, we get into the NFL, and then we'll get on out of here. Appreciate you guys so much. Sorry if you joined me last night for my live stream. I had a lot of days going on, so I had to shut down the stream a little earlier than I wanted to. But we'll probably try again in the future. I will announce my game for Friday night streams tomorrow night. I got a few games in mind. I try to find something that we haven't played. That's usually my goal for that. And then any new games coming up, definitely probably will be featured on Friday night streams as well. So stay tuned for that. Check out the community wall. I'm just going to put it on the community wall. Might not announce it on my social media until after that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this show started. Major League Baseball, like I said, we're in the middle of September. So let's look at the current standings right now. Teams starting to get eliminated as we got about today the 11th. So I say 3 weeks minimum left in the season. Teams are still tight in some divisions as we about to check it out now. But like I said, I think most teams are already established. American League East, Toronto Blue Jays still in first place. Yankees and Red Sox 3 games out. They play each other this weekend, so a big series. I think the game's in Boston, so that's a huge series late in the season. Tampa Bay Rays 11 back, and my Orioles 15 back. Not officially eliminated, but they're in a bad spot as far as even making a wild card. Central Division in the American League. Detroit Tigers have now opened up a 9.5 game lead over the Cleveland Indians. It got tight for a minute, but Detroit has pulled away again. Look like they're going to win the Central. I mentioned Cleveland 9.5 back, Kansas City 10, then Minnesota's 20. And every time I get a chance, I'm going to say Minnesota has been a very disappointing outing for them this season. White Sox officially eliminated at 28.5 after they eliminated from any playoff. They can't make the wild. They eliminated, as you probably understand. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I just got a notification. AL West, Houston Astros still holding on to a 1-game lead over the Seattle Mariners. Texas Rangers right there, 2.5. So I guess them 3 teams is going to fight for the West. But I still think somehow Houston going to win it. It just seems like they always just win this division no matter what's going on. Like I said, I mentioned I'm rooting for Seattle. I want them to at least make the playoffs. Rangers just won a World Series a couple years ago, so not surprising where they are. Angels 10 back, and the A's are 12.5 back. National League, Philadelphia Phillies now a 10-game lead with New York. What happened to the New York Mets? I just I know they won last night. Juan Soto, I think, had a big game, having a good season. But the Phillies, Kyle Schwarber, of course, killing it right now for the Phillies, um, having a huge season, 50 home runs. Um, even though I think Bryce Harper been in and out the lineup, but the Philadelphia Phillies just a deeper team, and they shown it. Mets still will probably make the wild card, but sort of been struggling over the last really since the All-Star break really. Those two teams was going back to back, but Philly has opened up a 10-game lead. I think last week it was only 5, so um, surprising that Philly is up 10 games now. Miami 19, my Braves 21. I already gave up on my Braves this year. I know they're done. Hopefully next year we can stay healthy and get back into the playoffs. Washington Nationals 25.5, but none of those teams are eliminated yet officially. Milwaukee Brewers 89 wins, still the best in baseball. First place in the Central. Like I said, the Brewers just one of those teams you barely can name a player, but they continue to win. Chicago Cubs also been a bright surprise this year, 5.5 back. Probably got a wild card spot. We look at the wild card in a minute. Cincinnati Reds 14.5. St. Louis Cardinals 17. Pittsburgh Pirates 24.5. I just speaking of the Orioles, Paul Skeens pitched last night, and I seen a little bit of him. Man, that Pittsburgh better at least try to hold on to him and just build around him if they want to get into any relevance. LA Dodgers, I still think, even though they sort of cruising through the season, I still think they're going to be an issue in the playoffs. And I think they're going to hold on to win the West. They in first place right now. San Diego Padres 3 back, so they still got outshot. Maybe still in the division. Giants 8 back. Diamondbacks 9.5. Rockies 42 out, and of course it's officially eliminated. So only 2 teams officially eliminated is the Rockies and the White Sox, which none of us, if you're a baseball fan, are surprised by that they be the first 2 teams officially out of it. So now let's check out the wild card standings. Appreciate you guys for popping in. So in American League, Yankees and Boston both plus 2.5. Of course, they tied. Like I said, this is a big series for the division if they still want to try to get that, and for this wild card. Seattle is in that final wild card spot right now, but the Rangers are a game and a half. Cleveland 3.5. Kansas City 4. Tampa Bay 5. Now that we're real late in the season, I think if you're more than 5 or right at 5, maybe you still got a shot. So after that, Angels 9, Orioles 9.5, A's 11.5, Minnesota 14, White Sox 22. But as I already mentioned, they are eliminated. But I think realistically, the only teams that really got a shot is Tampa, Kansas City, Cleveland, and the Texas Rangers. Angels, Orioles, all those teams under them are done, in my opinion. So, National League, Cubs got a stronghold on the wild card. They plus 7, so in that first spot. So it's going to be hard to unseat them for that late in the season. Padres plus 3. Then the Mets has that last wild card spot. I think, like I said, I think the National League, like I said, I think it's set who the team's going to be. But I just mentioned if you're less than 5 games, you still got a shot. So Giants 2 back, Cincinnati 2 back, Arizona 3.5, St. Louis 4.5. So it's a little tight in that area. But can any of those teams make a push? I really believe the teams that's in these spots are going to stay. But being 2 back, that could happen overnight. pretty much. You can flip it. So I'm not going to count those teams out yet, but in my opinion, I think the National League is definitely set. I'll say the Dolphins. Miami Marlins 9 back. My Braves 11. That's why I'd say they're done. Pittsburgh 12. Washington 15.5, and then the Rockies 36. And they, like I said, they've been eliminated for a while. So that's it for our baseball talk. So don't want to bore you anymore. But I'm a baseball fan, so I'm always going to talk baseball. I'm sorry. I'm just always going to try to put baseball in the show. But other little tidbits of news. I saw that Anthony Rizzo retired. I forgot. I was still thinking he was on the Yankees roster because that's where I know he was at before. But I think I read that he pretty much went back to the Cubs. They sort of signed him to something. So he officially retires as a Chicago Cub. Of course, he won the World Series with the Cubs in 2017. Of course, that team breaking the 100-year, whatever, how long it's been, over 100-year curse. Cubs won the World Series. He was on that team. He was a key player on that team. So I always say congratulations for retirements because, and I think he had a great career. When he got to the Yankees, sort of was past his prime, but Anthony Rizzo was a good player. So congratulations to him. He retires officially as a Cub. So I want to just tip my hat to him. He was a good player to watch. So hopefully he enjoyed the rest of his life and his, maybe you see him on TV. Most players of that caliber, you mind up seeing them on TV, being a commentator, being a analyst. So maybe that'll be his lane. So we'll see. But congratulations to him on that. Let me make sure it's not no other news because I did write notes. I think that was the main thing I wanted to touch on, other than the standings. Let me see. Yeah, that was pretty much what I want to touch on. So let's go over to the NBA now. Like I said, NBA usually is quiet after July. Really, pretty much after free agency, the NBA gets real quiet. But I want to touch. I'm doing it every week. Just touching on I want to say previewing, but just touching on a group of teams. Of course, the NBA breaks down groups for the in-season tournament. So I decided I did this last year. Just take every group and just touch on that, focus on that group of teams. So this week is Group A in the Western Conference. We did the Group A in the East last week. This group consists of the T-Wolves, the Thunder, the Suns, the Kings, and the Jazz. Pedro, what's up, bro? I think you're the only one in the chat, though, which is cool. Some people, most of the time, people pop in and out. This is an interesting group because Minnesota, the T-Wolves, of course, made the big trade for Karl-Anthony Towns last year. Traded him away for Julius Randle. But it really didn't. I mean, it took a step back in certain ways, but at the same time, I think it was a good trade for the Knicks and the T-Wolves. Everybody waiting for Anthony Edwards to really reach that prime, which I think he's still young, so maybe this would be the year he really be the number one guy that Minnesota needs to take that next step. Also, this is off the court stuff. The Nazi Reed news was sad. His sister was murdered by her boyfriend, basically. Long story short, so I saw that a couple of days ago. Nazi Reed's a good player. So thoughts to him, hopefully. And the guy's in custody, so hopefully he get what he deserves. But that was crazy. Sound like domestic violence, basically. So that's sort of off the court stuff. So, and I'm a believer in when things like that happen, tragedies happen, that brings teams more together. and he's a good player, so I think he's going to be extra motivated this year. So the T-Wolves, look out for them this year again in the West. The West is deep as it always been. So we'll see how the T-Wolves handle everything this season. Yeah, Pedro, you're correct. There's no, first of all, like it's no, well, Anthony Edwards, I just talked about him. He's pretty much him, Jason Tatum, even though he out all this year. We don't have no American superstar. All our superstars in the NBA are foreign or from not from America. So basically, the top three players is the Joker in Denver. He's from overseas. Um, I'm just bringing up Embiid because when he's healthy, he's a great player. He's not from America either. Giannis, all our top players, even which I'm about to talk about the Thunder. Shy SGA, he's from Canada. So I mean, we have no American player to carry that torch. So that's the issue I think for the NBA. And I think, well, people got their theories, but they say the way we training our players now is holding us back. Definitely the world is definitely caught up to us in basketball. I really think in 2028, I'd be shocked if we win the gold medal. We might be still competitive, but I don't think we're going to win the gold medal in 2028. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there now. I think other people agree with that. But we'll see how the NBA, I mean, just like baseball, the NBA I'm always going to be interested in. But Pedro, I have to definitely agree with you. And I think that's the NBA issue. Like I listen to a lot of people theories. Even during the Jordan era, I'm old enough, I'm in my 40s, so I love Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Also, I think the league, I think the issue has been that they try to put everything on one player. Instead of just letting your league, and they trying to do it now because LeBron is basically still the face of the league, quote unquote. But how many years he has left? Minimum, I'm gonna say 2. But once LeBron retires, it's gonna be interesting to see who American wise, because because as I said, all these great players that's from overseas, they're not interested in being the face of the league, quote unquote. Even Giannis, he barely talks. Everybody thought Kawhi would be that next guy. You know, he's American, but he's just, what I mean. So it's gonna be interesting to see when LeBron retires, how the NBA gonna market. But I think, even though TNT, I think that's also, I'm gonna see how this happens because TNT was a big component of the NBA. NBC though, me being old enough to remember how NBC covered the league, I think they're gonna do a good job as well. But the NBA, well, yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna put it like this: the next couple of years for the NBA is gonna be very, very interesting how they handle their marketing and everything else. There's already people. I see fans all the time say they're tired of the NBA, they don't watch such and such. And I have to admit this: like the regular season, I watch a few games, but I really don't watch the NBA to the playoffs. I have to admit that, like really, really watch. I don't really watch to the postseason, so I have to even admit that I'm sort of easing away from it, at least in the regular season. The All-Star game is a mess now. Now they talking about they about to do something, so the NBA is in trouble. The NBA is in trouble a little bit, so it's going to be interesting to see how these next few years go for the NBA, especially once LeBron retires. You can say what you want about LeBron, but he's been, after Kobe retired, he was basically, even before that, he was one of the faces of the league. But people are tired of him. So Kevin Durant also, and I love Kevin Durant, but he's not a guy that, he didn't want that title. He didn't want to be the face of the league. But Pedro, you're definitely right. I definitely agree. The NBA, the next few years is going to be interesting how the marketing and everything goes. It is. But I want to see how NBC carry their coverage this year. I'm excited about that. Me being old school from the 90s, the NBC did a great job covering the NBA, even though we're going to miss TNT. But yeah, the NBA it's going to be interesting the next few years. OKC Thunder, my second team to talk about today, defending champions, of course. I already said I don't think they're going to repeat. I think the league is that got that much parity. Um, Now out west, out west, is a lot of teams that's going to challenge them there. If they could get out west, they could probably win it again. But I think they going to lose before they get out the west, because the east, if it's not Cleveland or Knicks, which would be disappointing this year, if it's not one of those two teams coming out the east, um, the Thunder will have a shot again. I mean, I'm not saying they. I mean, I just don't think they are, but I wouldn't be shocked if they went back to back. But I just mentioned Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, great player. I think he still got room to grow. Um, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, he got his money. Czech Holmgren, I think he's going to be better this year. So the Thunder is going to be a better team. I just think the West overall, it's just a strong conference. So I just think somebody might step up and beat them this year. But at the same time, what I'm thinking about it now is like I can't really pick one team who can do it at the same time, which sounds weird. I might be contradicting myself, but we'll see. We'll see. I think they're gonna still be a great team. Still gonna be right there. Might still be the 1 seed again, in the West, but I think they're gonna definitely be challenged this year. Of course, elephant in the room is Houston. Of course, we'll talk about them when it's time. They're not in this group, but I just mentioned Kevin Durant. He's a great player, but he hasn't gotten it done. We just got to be honest. The Phoenix project didn't work out. The Brooklyn project didn't work out. He left Golden State, even though people criticize him for going there. But since Golden State, he hasn't made it come together. Now, this Houston team, I feel more strongly about because the coach, Udoka, is not going to let Houston take a step back. I think he's going to sort of motivate Durant in a positive way. So I think Houston will be strong this year, but we got to see it to believe it if they can actually challenge and win the championship. Speaking of the Phoenix Suns, they're my next team on this list. I think Phoenix definitely. Well, they cleaned house. Bradley Beal is now in LA with the Clippers. The Rats in Houston. Devin Booker, he's a Sun for life. I don't think he's never going to leave Phoenix unless he really wants to. But the Suns, don't expect much from them this year. Maybe a play-in team. But I think it was needed to be done. They needed to start over. So I think they made the right decision. Get some young players in there with Book and see how things go. So Phoenix pretty much on a reset this year. So but still a talented team in the Western Conference. So we'll see what they do this year. Sacramento Kings, of course, losing De'Aaron Fox. Well, they traded him, so I don't want to say lose him, but they traded him to the Spurs, which is going to be interesting to see this year. Him and Wemby play together. But the Kings still got Sabonis. Still got some young players there, so they might still be competitive. I think DeMar DeRozan's still there. So got a decent team, but they got a ceiling. So we'll see what the Kings be this year. And the Utah Jazz, I like some of the small things they've done over the years. Of course, Danny Ainge is the GM there. He's known to be a great GM. So the Jazz, I mean, it's just this West is so strong. But other than that, if the Jazz was, let's just say, as we do this all the time, the Jazz was in the East, they'd probably be a top 4, top 5 team in the East this year, the way how the East is built this year. I just like what they've done the last few years. So this is an interesting group. So we'll see how the play-in works out. But of course, OKC is going to be there again. Minnesota, I think they definitely the two top teams in this bracket. Suns and Kings are interesting. So are the Jazz. So we'll see how that turns out this year. The Hall of Fame ceremonies was last weekend. The Dwight Howard. I specifically want to talk about the Dwight Howard because honestly, I think he's very underrated. Even when he played in the NBA, he was a very underrated player. Even him not making the top 75 was a tragedy to me. I don't see how he didn't make the top 75. I think he was a 3-time defensive player of the year. Scoring, he was up and down, but when he needed to score, he scored. He scored the basketball, especially in Orlando. When he was in Orlando, you could argue he was a top 5 player for sure. Got the Magic to the finals that one year. Of course, ran into Kobe and the Lakers. But he had a great career. Now, I love Kobe Bryant, but he said some stuff about the White not being serious and stuff like that. In my theory, I guess that got around the league. But the White just seemed like the type of guy that even now, seeing him now being on podcasts and stuff, him and Shaq, that was another crazy thing between them two. Shaq can be. I mean, I like Shaq too, but Shaq can be Shaq sometimes. I think Shaq was slightly jealous of Dwight Howard because when Dwight Howard try to take the Superman thing and all that stuff. But I say this: Dwight Howard was more athletic than Shaq, as far as like jumping out the gym. Shaq was just powerful. Shaq was just strong than everybody else, which I'm not taking nothing away from, even so some people do. And I'm not saying Dwight Howard was better than Shaq. I'm not saying that. Please don't misinterpret that. But he was a great player. He definitely worthy of the Hall of Fame. I'm glad he got in. I think it was his first. I think he was the first ballot Hall of Famer, I believe. So, the off the court stuff. I try not to touch that about anybody off the court, off the field, whatever. Little weird, things he's been involved in. Maybe that hurted him a little bit around the league, also his perception, but it is what it is. But I think he deserved to get it. I think he should have been a top 75 player. I think he should be. He's an all-time great. He's an all-time great, great center or big man, whatever you want to call it now. The NBA with no positions anymore. He was a great player, and he deserved to get in the Hall of Fame. So, congratulations to the White. People need to start giving him his respect as a basketball player. I'm not talking about all that other stuff. I'm not the judge of that, but as a basketball player, Dwight Howard was an all-time great player that I haven't seen and that you haven't seen if you know anything about basketball. So it was good to see him get in the Hall. So congratulations to him and everybody else that got into the Hall of Fame. But I just wanted to definitely talk about the White to give him his props as a basketball player. All right, so that's it for the NBA. But like I said, Pedro, you made a good observation. I think the NBA, the next 5 years, it's going to be interesting to see where it is 5 years from now. Because a lot of things is going to happen. Like I said, LeBron is going to retire within that time. Like I said, the USA basketball, I think it's going to struggle with the Olympics. The next Olympics, there's going to be a lot of things, which is which is still on the NBA, but they don't got nothing to do with it. Yes, it does, because on the whole team is going to be NBA players. So, the next 5 years for the NBA will be very, very telling to where they're going to go from here. NFL Week 2 starts tonight. It starts tonight, guys. Good game. Another good game. The Washington Commanders at the Green Bay Packers. Huge game. As far as playoff implications later on in the season. I think both of these two teams will be in the postseason. So a real big game tonight. Short week. We'll see how much Micah plays. it seemed like he played more than 29 snaps, but they say he only played 29 snaps. He definitely had his impact on the game last week against Detroit. I think the Lions will be okay. We're going to talk about, the Lions a little bit, but Washington, I think they're going to definitely show a better outing. Just off this, Jared Goff, he's a statue. He's not someone that's going to move out the pocket consistently like that. Jalen Daniels can. So I think it's going to be plays out there that maybe Jared Goff could make that Jalen can make. So I think that helps Washington as well. Got to get the running game. I think Washington probably going to try to establish the run on the road. But I think it's a short week. Green Bay's at home. What's the spread? 3.5. That sounds about right. I think the Packers will win a close one. It'll probably be 3 points or more. 3 points. Yeah, that sounds right. 3.5. I say a field goal. Yes. Jordan Love, like I said, I think he's a good player, but I still think he needs more time to develop. It's a regular season game, so and his turnovers have gotten better. So we'll see how that happens tonight. I think Josh Jacobs, but I think Washington, which I think I saw this morning. Some people say I think Green Bay might throw the ball a lot in this game because Washington run defense is pretty decent. They holes is in the secondary, so maybe Green Bay will take advantage of that. With these young receivers, they got a lot of speed at the receiver spot. So I basically think I say the game would be in the high 20s, maybe low 30s. I think Jordan Love will make maybe 1 or 2 big plays, which will be the difference of the game. I think Jalen going to shout as well. I think the Giants defense is underrated. So a lot of people think they got off to a slow start, but he made some big plays in that game also. He just going to have to move out the pocket a lot. If he stand back there too long, Green Bay going to get to him, and it's going to disrupt the game, but I think he knows that. So I think it's going to be another good game, close game, but I think Green Bay squeaks one out by a field goal and win this game to go to 2-0. Washington to be fine. They'll still be a playoff team. They'll still be probably there at the end. But I think tonight, I think Green Bay gets it done on a short week at home. So that's my pick for Thursday Night Football. All the rest of my picks I will do tomorrow on my community wall. So check out my community wall on YouTube tomorrow. Getting to some of Sunday's games. Browns, Ravens. Ravens, of course, had the devastating loss. Me being a Ravens fan, it hurts. But I think we bounced back at home against the Browns. Browns defense, though, nothing to play with. You see how they slowed down Cincinnati. I don't think that was just the Bengals just not being ready. I think the Browns defense is really that legit. So Lamar going to watch out. But same thing, Burrow can move, but he can't move like Lamar. So I think Lamar will be able to take advantage of that and get the Ravens going in that game. Rams, Titans. Rams, very interesting. Everybody still watching for Matthew Stafford. Tennessee played pretty decent in Denver, but they back home. I think Cam Ward will play a little better, but I still probably slightly like the Rams in that game. Jaguars, Bengals, Jags, Carolina. I think Carolina, not surprised. I just think it's going to take time for the Panthers to get rolling. Cincinnati, we'll see how they come out this week. Travis Hunter, which I seen something this morning. I think Adam Schefter probably said it. Basically, here they're going to go week by week how much of what side he's going to play on. They say this week he might play more the defensive side because they're going to need him against Chase and Higgins and that offense for the Bengals. So, very interesting. So that's a good game to watch. So a lot of good games this week as well. Bills, Jets. Bills, you see how great they look on offense. The Jets, like I said, even though they lost, it's no more victories, but they looked good in their first game. They're at home, but I still think the Bills will be too much for them. But I think the Jets will bounce back this season. But I think the Bills will do well on the road. Patriots, Dolphins. The Dolphins are a mess, man. Miami is a mess. They is at home. They usually play the Patriots well at home in the history of these two teams. And it's warm. That usually help Miami. Um, New England, like I said, I think the same with Carolina. I think they're going to have a decent season, but I just think they gonna need time. They're gonna need time. Um, but like I said, I'll make my pick tomorrow. That's a game I definitely got to think about. Um, 49ers Saints. This has become a development. Niners injuries again. No George Kittle. He's already been ruled out. Brock Purdy is basically, they say, most likely will not play. But I think they still will have enough to beat the Saints. That's why it's probably most likely that I think they're going to go ahead and let Purdy rest. Saints is another sort of mess, as far as at least with the quarterback position. Um, but they will have a shot. We'll see what Mac Jones do. Mac Jones has shown some flashes of brilliance at times in New England. He'll get the start. But the Niners, again, with these injuries early in the season. So I think that's a bigger concern. But I think they might have enough to win that game. Giants and Cowboys. Um, Dallas had a chance to beat Philadelphia last week. CD Lamb with a couple of big drops. Dak looked great. My still concern of the offense for Dallas is the run game. They got to get that together. Giants, of course, the talk with them is, should they bench Russ already? I'm on the fence with that because I believe in Russell Wilson. He's the veteran. Jackson Dart looked great in preseason. Probably a little bit more mobile, which you need because the offensive line is not great, which has been an issue for the Giants since Eli. So that's going to be an interesting game. But I think it'll be a competitive game. I think the Giants will stay in this game. They can compete. We'll see. Check out my pick tomorrow. Bears at Lions. Lions, of course, got dominated by the Packers. Bears let one slip away against Minnesota. Of course, the OC comes back. The head coach of the Bears comes back to Detroit. I think the Lions at home. I'm not. Like, some people already jumped. Think the Lions are, I don't want to say done, but that they different. That they took a step back, losing both coordinators. Dan Campbell has been in question. I'm not going to go there. I'm still hanging with Detroit. I think they come back and bounce back. Bears, though, you're going to start hearing some noise about that, about Caleb. So, but tune in. Come to my community ball tomorrow for my official pick. Seahawks at Steelers. Steelers looked great. Aaron Rodgers looked like he really did. Aaron Rodgers, he looked great. He exceeded my expectations. Seattle, like I said, I think the Seahawks going to take some time to get their feet wet. Sam Darnold, we'll see what he does. I appreciate all the support, by the way, that I've been getting lately. Yeah, this game, this is going to be an interesting game. But Steelers at home. I think Aaron Rodgers will never have another strong showing. Steelers got to get that run game together. Take some pressure to Aaron Rodgers. He's still over 40. So, got to get that running game together. But Steelers, I think the defense will play better this game as well. No concerns with that. I think TJ Watt get a sack or two. I like the Steelers in this game. But, again, tomorrow, my official picks. Broncos, Colts. Daniel Jones, got to tip your hat to him. At least for this week, he played well. Broncos. They say Bo Nix did look good. I didn't see a lot of the highlights with the Broncos, but they won the game over Tennessee. So we'll see. Can Daniel Jones duplicate that? Broncos definitely a better defense. So we'll see how that game goes. Panthers, Cardinals. Cardinals. They was my lock pick last week. They did beat New Orleans, but I just thought they should have beat them by a little bit more than they did. I think they got by a little bit. I think they did, but I think they played better this game. Panthers, like I said, Bryce Young. We'll see if he can bounce back. Prior to game of the week, Eagles at Chiefs. Chiefs, of course, fell to the Chargers Friday night in Sao Paulo. Um, Eagles looked great against the Cowboys. I want to see how the Eagles play on the road. Um, I'm leaning Chiefs to this game, but I got a day to think about it. But I'm leaning Chiefs if I had to pick right now. But um, it's gonna be an interesting game for sure. On Sunday afternoon, Sunday night football, Falcons at Vikings. Like I said, Minnesota with that great win last week. They hard to play at home. Minnesota, that crowd. Michael Penix Jr. he played well. Just Baker made one more play than he did. So that's going to be an interesting game. McCarthy against Penix, national championship rematch between them two. Buccaneers at Texans. Texans to me, we'll see how they bounce back. But I think now we'll see what the Jags do. But I think they're going to be in a dogfight in that South. Buccaneers, like I said, they still underneath the top 10 NFC, but I think this is a game to me, even though it's a road game, that even though they are favorite, but I believe a lot of people will pick them to win this game. I want to see if they win a game like this. They lost games like this last year. The Falcons game, like I mentioned, they got swept by Atlanta last year, so I think it was good to beat them last week. So we'll see how that game goes. I think it's a big game for both. Chargers Raiders late night game Monday night. So it's two games Monday night. Buccaneers Texas at 7. Chargers Raiders at 10. I'm definitely I'm not gonna step and watch that Charger game, but I think they're gonna beat the Raiders. Raiders though, Pete Carroll's a good coach. So Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh had some history. Of course, when Jim Harbaugh was at Stanford, Pete Carroll was at USC. They got a little history there. Got a little history with Seattle and San Francisco as well. So these guys know each other very, very well. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a close game. But I still lean Chargers for that one. So that is the schedule for week 2. As we got through it, like I said, tomorrow I'll put up my picks of all these games. So come to my community wall tomorrow, and you'll see who I officially pick for these games. Not no really off the field news. Jalen Carter will not be suspended. He basically got a fine, and they count in game 1 as a suspension, so he did get suspended. Some people thought he should have got multiple games. Some people thought this is fine. I would say he should have got one more game because spitting on somebody is just so heinous. I don't agree with it at all. So I probably would have gave him one more game. I probably would have sat him this week as well. But that's just me. But at the same time, it is what it is. And then this is a huge game for both the Chiefs and the Eagles. I don't want no excuses. I'm one of those type of fans as well. So I'm glad he'll be able to play this game. I think he learned this lesson. Hopefully, we'll see what happens with that. But he did not get suspended. He got basically a big fine. Basically, his whole check from game 1 he had to give up. So we'll see how that goes. Also, me being a Raiders fan, the Lamar push the fan in the stands as he the fan swung on DeAndre Hopkins. Lamar protected his guy. I'm glad the NFL didn't overreact to this because fans. I don't understand fans sometimes. Fans just do some crazy stuff. You ain't supposed to do that. So I'm glad they didn't. Well, I guess I'm speaking as a fan and as if it was anybody, I would feel the same way. I'm glad they overreacted, fine Lamar, or try to suspend Lamar, and the fan has been banned from NFL games. Period. So I think that was the right decision. We gotta, me being the fan side, we gotta have some order. So I'm glad the league ain't overreact. And Lamar apologized, and I give it up to him for that as well. So, all right, so that's it, guys. Final thoughts. It's a big fight this weekend. Canelo Alvarez against Bud Terrence Crawford. I haven't watched boxing in so long because, first of all, it's too daggone expensive. It's on Netflix, I believe, so might be a little bit easier to see that way. Canelo Alvarez, he's been around so long. I think he got over 60 fights under his belt. Terrence Crawford's undefeated at 41-0, I believe. This is going to be a great fight. Probably one of the best fights we've had, real fights we've had in a long time. I know you guys saw that Floyd Mayweather go fight Mike Tyson. I'm like, come on, y'all. And I love Mike, man. I love Mike Tyson. I like Floyd Mayweather during his prime, but come on, man. Like, y'all really gonna throw those two guys in the ring? Like, honestly, like I really love to see. I'm laughing. Like, I kind of still want to see it, but y'all got. I mean, boxing. We gotta stop this. We gotta bring boxing back. First of all, one of the issues with boxing. First of all, just like I was just mentioning about the NBA, is no American heavyweight. If it was American heavyweight, that helps boxing more popular. American heavyweight. So we need that. We need an American heavyweight. And just the promotions and stuff. We just gotta fight. The best fighters should fight the best fighters, no matter what. I think it should be sort of like. I know this will never happen, but like how have a schedule. Like have a schedule, some type of schedule or some type of rule where you have to defend your belt against against the top contender within a certain amount of timeline. But it's a lot of different belts as well. So that's an issue. I think it's like 4 or 5 different heavyweight belts and all these different belts. So it's best boxing's a mess, but at least this would be a good bright spot for boxing, at least for this weekend. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see it, to be honest with you, but I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on it. I'm gonna go with Bud. I think Bud gonna win. I think Terrence Crawford's gonna win this fight. I think it's gonna be a good fight. I'm gonna say Bud wins in like a late round knockout, like a 9th round, something like that. I think the fight gonna go a while, but I'm gonna say Bud go win in like a 9th round knockout. That's my prediction for that fight. But I just hope it's a good fight because boxing, we need it. If you're a boxing fan at all, boxing is dead. So hopefully this fight can rejuvenate it a little bit. Yeah, so that's what I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a late round knockout by Terrence Crawford over Canelo Alvarez. And I think this will unify some belts and stuff. Like I said, I don't even know about the belts anymore. I think this would be a unification of some belts or whatever. So can't wait for it. I'm going to keep an eye on it. It's on Netflix. So maybe, like I said, maybe it's a way I can finesse and watch that fight. But if not, yeah, I'm all right with that. All right, so what's to come up on the channel? Friday night streams tomorrow night. I'm gonna announce the game. So check out the community. Well, I'm gonna really think about what game I want to play tomorrow night. Sorry about yesterday. I just was kind of out of it. But so I'm gonna announce the game today for that. Like I said, y'all been great. Y'all been really supporting the channel, so I thank you guys. Just watch out for random pop-up videos of Gears of War Reloaded. It was a good game. I had fun with that game. Just was kind of short though, kind of too short for my taking. But it was still a good fun game to play. I never played the Xbox version because I didn't own an Xbox, so playing Gears of War Reloaded, I recommend you play it. It's probably funner to play co-op, honestly. Haven't played it online yet. I might check it out just to see how it is, but I really want to play the campaign. The campaign was okay, just too short. Mafia, I'm gonna finish that up. I think I got like 2 or 3 chapters left. So look out for that video. You might see some random Call of Duty videos. Section 13, I'll probably definitely do a video of that today. I haven't done a video of that in a couple of days. And like I said, I will announce the game we'll be streaming tomorrow night. So definitely join me tomorrow night or Friday night streams. 8 o'clock as always. 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So join me for that. If you're just getting in, like I said, I think Green Bay will win tonight's game on a short week. I think they'll handle the Commanders. I think it's gonna be a good game though. I think Jalen gonna have some big plays that Jared couldn't make. I think it's gonna be a close, tight game. High 20s, maybe a field goal. Green Bay wins. And for the rest of my week 2 picks, come here tomorrow to my community wall as well. For that. But other than that, thank you guys for joining me today. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. Next week, gotta check my work schedule, but like I said, it'll be usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings. I'll come on live, talk sports. Now that it's the NFL season, be a lot more to talk about. So come join me next week. I will announce that as well once I get my schedule for next week. So come join me for that. So a good NFL game tonight. Enjoy the game tonight. I'm gonna try to stay up and watch a little bit of it. I do got work in the morning, but I'm gonna watch a little bit of it. I want to see how Green Bay now with all this. I don't want to say pressure, but a lot of people pick a Green Bay to win this thing. Like I said, I'm not high on them as other people are, but I think they're gonna be a good football team. But we'll see how they handle expectations tonight. Washington as well. I think a lot of people was down on Washington though. I'm one of them. I don't want to say down on them, but I think these 2 teams will be playoff teams. I just don't know if they can still challenge Philadelphia. But we'll see. This is just a game tonight, so I'm gonna try to step and watch it. Sorry I was late today. Like I said, I had to charge my devices. But I'm about to get out of here. I gotta go make some market. Gotta cook and do some stuff around the house. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, sweetheart, for coming through, helping her. She's been my friend for YouTube for a long time, and just been a friend, period. So thank you for coming through. Sorry that you came in late. I'm about to go ahead and end the live, but we had a good show. We talked a lot of football, as always. Pedro, shout out to you. Thank you for coming through. Yeah, the NBA, like I said, that was a good point. The NBA, I want to see where it stands in 5 years. The NBA has definitely got a lot of work to do for marketing and things of that nature. Especially, like I said, if LeBron retires after this year, or even if it's in the next 2 years, I still think the NBA is going to be in trouble for a little bit. But we'll see. That's why we love sports, right? Seem like things happen out of nowhere. So is it going to be Cooper Flag? Maybe he'll carry the torch for the league. We'll see what he do in Dallas this year as a rookie. But a lot to talk about, and we'll talk about all that next week as well. Like I said, congratulations to the Dwight Howard making the Hall of Fame. Give that man his props. More baseball. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. Okay. I mean, I appreciate you. You know, I appreciate you. And I'll talk to you. I hopefully you have a good day too. I mean, you know, I'll reach out to you. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll be back next week. I announce the exact day. Join me tomorrow night for Friday night streams. Y'all have a great rest of the week. I appreciate y'all. I've thrown out some videos today, so just keep watching. Definitely a Section 13 video for sure. And I'll see you guys next week on the blog. But I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Join me for Friday night streams. I announced the game on my community wall. Just check out my community wall today. I put up some stuff on that. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace and love as always. Thanks for the support. And we'll continue to grow. Thank you guys so much for being here.